Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ProDev Lab. I am your host, Dave Deese. The power of vulnerability in leadership. We will explore how vulnerability builds trust, fosters authentic relationships, get to that authentic point, right, where it's real, sincere, and encourage open communications within teams. One of the great ways that you can get people to open up and communicate their needs or their ideas and so on is show your own vulnerability as a leader. So, and when we talk about leader, remember, we're not talking about manager. Manager is a title, leadership is a characteristic, it's who you are. Let's start with the definition. Vulnerability in leadership, what that means, or what we mean by that, is effective leaders who embrace vulnerability create an environment where innovation, collaboration, and growth thrive. We're going to show you how you can demonstrate that vulnerability, what that really looks like, and how you can use that to encourage and build things like innovation, collaboration, and growth for your people and your organization, as well as for yourself. So to demonstrate vulnerability, there's a few key ways to do that. First is admitting mistakes. When you admit that you've done something wrong, even apologize, it's very disarming, meaning that it's kind of difficult for people to come back and think about anything else other than you're a responsible and accountable person. Somebody who is accountable takes accountability for their mistakes. They also learn from them. And one of my favorite acronyms is FAIL. Instead of the word, or take the word, and it means first attempt in learning. And meaning that I'm going to not only make the mistake, I'm going to own up to it, and then I'm going to actually list or talk about or even consider what did I learn? I made a mistake, but what did I learn? Other than maybe not make that mistake again, or what did I learn from it so that I can make those teachable moments? I'm going to ask for people's feedback. And not only am I going to ask for the feedback, I'm going to accept it. I'm going to consider it. And I'm actually going to thank you for the feedback. If you can do that as a leader, you're showing your vulnerability. And in that vulnerability, you're showing people, wow, this leader of ours really is willing to accept feedback. Now, if you disagree with it, that's fine too. But at least you're making it open to say, thank you for caring enough to share that. I'm going to heavily consider it moving forward. And I'm going to share my challenges. I'm going to actually let you know what I'm up against. Do I have deadlines? So if I'm a leader, even whether I'm if somebody reports to me or if I just want to demonstrate leadership through vulnerability, I'm say I've got some challenges and this is what I have to handle. And that really shows that openness to be able to receive feedback and work together. And that's really the power of that vulnerability. And it kind of will allow you to strengthen the team to become more collaborative and innovative. So the bottom line is through that vulnerability shows that you are a secure leader. It takes a secure leader to be vulnerable in both life and the workplace. Somebody who doesn't show their vulnerability or doesn't want to, open their arms up and show you their belly, if you will, and say, look, this is who I am. If I've made a mistake, I'm going to learn from it and I'm going to get through it. And I hope we can get through it together. And let's work together to do that. There's a few tips to apply that vulnerability. What are some things that you can do to be able to apply vulnerability as a leadership skill? Tell your story. Share your experiences and make sure they're authentic, that they're not somebody else's, but share your own experiences. Be open to sharing how you got to where you are. Share a story that perhaps challenged you. Where was a point that you found it challenging? If you're working with somebody who is struggling, having some difficulty, share a story of a time that you went through a similar experience. And not say, oh, I know how you feel. Say, wow, that's really difficult. I'd love to share my story with you. Been through an experience where it was really challenging. And tell that story. Be open, be honest, right? And be a good listener. These are all ways to apply vulnerability in your leadership. Make sure that you're open to hearing people and really listen by being a good listener and being honest with your feedback and honest about yourself. And lead with empathy. What is it like to be in their shoes? Now, empathy is a very powerful thing because it lets people know, especially when you're practicing, especially when you're leading with it, it lets people know you care. I may not be in your shoes, but I want to know what it's like. What are you going through? What are you dealing with? Tell me your story. Tell me a story. And always be authentic and sincere. Dale Carnegie talks about this in all of his books and in the little pocket guide. Those of you who are familiar with the Golden Rules or Dale Carnegie's Golden Rule Handbook talks about being sincere. Express how you feel, express your story. It's got to be authentic, and most of all, you have to be sincere. So when you say thank you, really, that's a really important thing to practice. Doing all of this, showing your vulnerable side, or just showing that you are vulnerable as a leader, people are going to feel safe. If you can be secure and be in a position of strength, a position of leadership, and just be able to show that you're open to other ideas, other people, and other feelings, what's going to happen is your folks, the people around you on your team, people who work with you, including the people that you serve, are going to feel safe to share their ideas. Think about it. If you've ever been reported to a manager that was intimidating and strong-fisted, if you will, you're not going to go to them with your ideas. And even if you think it's a really good idea, you may be too intimidated, or you may literally be fearful of losing your job if you come up with an idea. But you, as a leader, can say, by showing your vulnerability, they're going to say, oh, this is an approachable person. So that's kind of the real bottom line. Somebody is approachable because they're vulnerable. And because of that, they'll know that they can share their ideas, that it's okay, that it's safe. And it's going to improve collaboration and communications. Because you're open to ideas, why wouldn't I, right? It's a lead by example thing where now I know I can collaborate and communicate what I'm thinking. Where before I might have crossed my arms and sat back in the chair and say, I'm not going to say, nobody cares what I think, or people are going to ridicule me. Whereas if you show as a leader that it doesn't matter, I'm not taking things personally, and I'm listening to this, and I'm opened up, and I'm leaving myself vulnerable, that's going to allow other people to be more collaborative and communicate what they're feeling and what they're thinking. And it'll help to share their challenges. They'll feel safe. Here are the obstacles. I know I have a deadline to get this report in, but I've got some issues that I'm dealing with these other colleagues. I've got too many things on my plate. Can you help me prioritize? Whereas, again, if it's a manager or a boss who's just kind of strict and strong-minded or strong-willed and not very vulnerable, you're not going to want to share that you're having difficulty. Where as a leader, if you show your vulnerable side, the people you work with, the people that you lead, are going to be more willing to share their challenges because they know you've created this safe space. Power of vulnerability in leadership. My name is Dave. Thanks for being here.